Corbin's like, I don't see anything yet. I'm like, would you wait?
Hold your horses.
It is preparing. It is going. I gotta make sure all right. Oh God, why is my face so bright? Is that what it's gonna look like the whole time?
You look great. You look mysterious.
Holy crap, I need to back up, I think.
You're like an ethereal angel. Ooh, look at the sexy goth girl.
Seriously, is this what my face is gonna look like? Okay, now it's getting a little better. All right, we're live.
Are we live now? Are we on the air?
We are.
Well, it's nice to be here. We're broadcasting. This feels like an enormous amount of pressure. I think I'm gonna crack up.
No.
I'm gonna hold up. Are you hanging in there?
I am. Hello, everybody. It's episode 24.
Very much for joining us. Also joining us this evening is a very special guest, our old friend, comedian, one of the funniest guys I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. Really good dude, Mr. John Wessling. Johnny, are you there?
Hello. Yes, first-time caller, long-time listener. I've got a question about Lawrence Welk. How come you guys never do any episodes about Lawrence Welk, the American classic? Can you hear me? Am I coming through okay? Everything fine?
Yeah, John Wessling, we can hear you.
You're coming through fine. You're just coming through a little hot. Do you have to be so threatening all the time?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Just dial it
change.
down a notch. We do sensitive around here.
Hey, there he is.
But I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start stupid. I called the audible and said, you know what? I'll start off stupid, and it didn't pay off. So my bad.
That wasn't stupid at all.
It was stupid.
Welcome, John.
It was stupid. I was going for the radio caller about obscure music. I don't know. I'm not good.
Thank you very much for coming on and doing this with us.
Thank you for having me, man. I got a busy schedule here at the end of the world, really. And not with social events or entertainment business stuff, but I've got a 24-hour day schedule of 4 children, a wife, and a yard. So yeah, I mean it's hard to squeeze anything in that's not agrarian in nature.
John, your plumerias look fucking amazing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's the sweetest thing anyone said to me. That's my 2-month high right there. Thank you. My plumerias are I'm very pleased with them. Thank you. They're more pink than they had been in years past. They'd always been white, and now they kind of got a little pink on them. So I'm like, is that good? Is that bad? But it looks nice. I like it.
Plumerias are your reading glasses, I would gather.
Yes, they are my reading glasses. That's exactly. It depends which room I'm in. I'm now at the point where I have a pair for each room. Sometimes, yeah, and it's I'm ridiculous like that. They pool in the restroom, in the downstairs bathroom is where my glasses all wind up. Sorry.
Well, John, let me be the first to say thank you so much for choosing the song that we're going to cover. It's a horribly depressing song, so thanks for bringing that to the party.
Thank you. Well, depressing things are very meaningful if they hit the right sour note. You know what I mean? Everyone remembers let's all party in a bathtub kind of songs when you're young, with the ones that make you cry all by yourself. That's the ones that made a teenager out of you.
Yeah.
But this one was like here's what I always connected with this song. And of course, we're talking about Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here." One of the greatest rock and roll songs of all time. One of the few times that Roger Waters and David Gilmour worked together successfully. Right. And neither one of them to this day will complain about it. Everything else, they were screaming matches at gunpoint, essentially. But on this one thing, they lined up like Scorpio lovers. Just they had that one weekend where it all worked out. But the whole album, "Wish You Were Here," was created in the studio from January to July of 1975. And that's the exact same time that I was being gestated inside my mother. I was born. So as this album was created, I was created. So I have a deep spiritual connection to this one. And then I was born August 5th, and then 1 month and 1 week later, it was released on September 12th.
Oh my God, it's like your
title hit from it.
It's like your twin almost.
my soul song, man. You
It
ever had a soul song? You know what I mean? Oh, everything about this is like, if I was in shape, if I was like an MMA fighter, I would probably somewhere on the front torso rib cage have the lyrics like straight off the Wikipedia page, center justified on the rib cage, right on there
in Chinese.
Yeah, and the refrain twice. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that I don't skip over the bridge.
Just wish you were here right between the nipples.
Yeah, a little arrow to my penis. Wish you were here. You know what I mean?
It would be the best tramp stamp, just that line right across your ass.
Yes. Yeah, or just the lead role in the cage, ... in Old English.
Oh my gosh.
That would be tough.
Well, hey, I'm going to do another shout out real quick to my husband, Corbin. All day long, I was like, I'm going to put on my big girl panties tonight. We're going to drink. We said we're going to drink. And he had a bottle of Glenlivet up in the liquor cabinet. And I could only see the top of it. So I went and pulled it down. And it was fucking empty. He put an empty liquor bottle up there.
Boo. You don't leave the dead in the field.
So
That's
instead,
100% normal.
Oh, you can't hardly see it. I'm going Boda Box, guys. Cheers.
Oh, hey, mazel. That's what is that? That's a cardboard kegger.
Oh yeah, it's the good stuff.
That is good.
Not ashamed.
No shame in that.
What are you drinking, Johnny?
I guess you're the bartender. You go last, right? We have to show you what our concoctions are. I made my own cocktail. I'm going to move my shot here so hopefully you can see it.
Wait, are you licensed to do that? Has it come to this?
I'm not even currently licensed to do this. I'm so out of touch. I've lost any TABC certification I may have had in a younger day.
Oh, you have the big ice.
Oh yeah, I got one. It's the only piece I have too, so I'm down to one ice cube. So this one's being coaxed. I'm leaning in here. This is the after later cocktail. It is HEB sweet tea with a big shot of Old Humble straight whiskey. Right?
Oh, I see what you're doing here.
That's right. So it's that sweet tea and the Old Humble straight whiskey. And if you're feeling frisky, you hit it with a lime, hit it with the lemon, and then you shake it up and sit back and relax on the porch.
Kick it up a notch and you're in Flavor Town. Am I getting my chef guys mixed up? I think I am.
Well, is Old Humble going to pay us now for advertising on our show?
Sure, absolutely. No, I'm like a race car driver. I got to thank the Castrol 13 Dodge. They've been good people to me. Tide Texaco 100 phone line. Thank you for reaching out to me. But it's quite delicious.
Old Humble whiskey will get you to the finish line. Before we get going into the lyrics, your wife, Sarah, is an old friend of ours as well.
Yes.
And she plays a really important part on our show. She does our guilty pleasures.
Yes. She does that. Phil, I remember her when she recorded that. I came around the corner. I was like doing some sort of boring chore of the house. I came around the corner and hear her going, guilty pleasures. And I was like, babe, the kids are up here. What are you doing with your filthy voice?
Well, before you tell the story, my son has heard it a lot and he thinks it's hilarious because we laugh really hard. Out of nowhere, in front of people, he'll go, and he nails it. He's like, guilty pleasures.
That's great.
So, John.
Yes.
Tell us why we chose Sarah to do this important job for us.
Well, Sarah had a great part. I'll tell you one thing. My wife has an amazing work ethic. You know what I mean? At this time when we were all living in Houston, we were right next door to old KLOL studio, right off of Lovett. And she was attending bar. She was a cater waiter. She was doing catering chef work as well. And she picked up a little part-time job doing a 3-hour shift doing phone sex.
Yes.
And the best part is like she would start. So I was doing morning radio right next door. So I'd work until about 11 o'clock. She'd do from about 10 to noon ish. And so when I come home, I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. What a great morning. And she's like, I'll be with you in just a second. I got to keep this guy slow jerking off for at least another 20 minutes. All right. So go get some breakfast. I'm like, all right. Yeah. It was great. It was a great job. So like, you're peeking. Are you done? You still? Did he come yet? No. Did you think about the finger in the butt? You didn't? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it was weird. It was very funny.
But I lived in the apartment upstairs, and I would get up around 11 when you would come home, and I'd come down, and you and I would just start fucking around. And there was like some like weird ringtone. Like she knew like when the phone rang, if it was going to be like a friend or a call that she needed to take, or if it was, no, it's business. Like in the bedroom.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a landline, if I'm not mistaken. It was that creepy that it was the landline. Like, so for those 3 hours, there was no casual phone use. The only in and out calls are the routed through the porn server. Yeah.
But she had that like big binder of like rules and regulations, because there were certain things that she couldn't say if you were calling from a certain state. Like one of the first things she had to find out was like, where are you calling from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, first off, it's a very underrated and underappreciated voiceover work job. It's got elements of improv to it. But it's quite a skill. Hats off to they are the most creative of the sex workers would be my postulation. But yeah, she had the binder out, so it was like, she had Perry Mason them a little bit to figure out what they were into and what they were allowed to be into, and like so many of the calls came from repressed areas. Like, oh, look, another Utah area code popping up. Turns out, right? So they knew that they couldn't do butt stuff. Like, but the thing is, she couldn't say butt stuff. They could say butt stuff, and then she just had to make non-approval suggestions. Like she couldn't say yes or no, don't do that, or couldn't even like like excited, like like no. So they had to have a completely flat toned, like they're like, oh yeah, you like that? What if I was to put my thumb in your butthole? And she's like, oh shit, it's illegal over there. And then she's good to go. Like she had to hold a perfectly flat, boring note like an E. And she got the dead cow moan, like it was the dead cow moan. It was neither yes nor no, not accepting. There was no judgment. It was just. You had to really make sure that you didn't go up or down at the end of it either, because that would imply whether you were yes or no with it. So you had to really fish hook you.
I would not be able to do that job for the same reason I couldn't work on SNL, because I would fucking laugh. I could not hold it together.
Yeah, you can't fucking Horatio signs your way through a jack off section. Like, hey, you're hot. Oh, I'm sorry.
I would Jimmy Fallon that to pieces.
Yeah. So you were. So anyway, I'm here to fix your pizza. I'm sorry, I lost the scene. What are we doing again? Oh God. Anyway, so your dick's out, right? Your dick's out. My dick's out. Okay, well, I'll pick it up from there.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I don't know.
Did he come yet? Can we go to have breakfast? No breakfast yet. Right. Hurry him up. That was the best.
So before this turns into just a spun out of control podcast, should we get to the song?
Oh, look at Diane, the professional Diane. Like, hey guys, enough of this foolishness. Let's get back.
We'll get back to it. I promise. We'll come back to it.
All right. This is a song that I think comes fully installed in the human brain these days. I can't remember the first time I heard it. I think it was just that it's just there. It exists in all of us. It's Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. And the lyrics are, so you think you can tell heaven from hell, which always sounds like that's confrontational, right?
Yeah, it does. It sounds like, what's up? You think you know what's going on?
Yeah, like so is always a warning. Like every like so is basically just shorthand for we need to talk. We need to talk about you.
Even though I know this was written in like late 1974, early 1975, it still sounds like this would be a Facebook comment reply to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if this whole thing, the whole song, you can just put the whole song in, and that's just like one really long. Fuck you! You fucking think you? What did you do? You went off and you exchanged a cold comfort for change? Did you exchange walk on part and war for me? Roll the goddamn case. Free America, maggot fuckers.
We know exactly who you are right now, by the way. Do we have to say Mungle? We know what you're doing right now. Hi, Rob. I hope you're watching.
Yes, Mungle is a complete art piece being put on by Roger Waters right now and has been for 40 years. Roger Waters is the creative director of what we know as Rob Mungle.
Is that Mungle? Because it sounded like a dead-on Alex Jones to me.
Oh,
it
wow.
can go both. You know, you're just showing this. It's kind of racist that you would say that. You just think you see me, crazy middle-aged white guy, and you think all the other middle-aged white guys because you all look the same. I hear it, Ben. I hear it.
You're just going Central Texas crazy. I knew you were going to one day.
I'm sad. It's creepy with everything that's going on and has been going on that I'm the pit bull of people. This is what scary humans look like now. It's kind of scary. I don't like it. I've never been frightening. That's the only way you find out people's middle names is when they shoot up a place. Like, oh, Benjamin Daniel Mowbray. That is nice.
They always have 3 names.
Yeah, you don't get your third name until you're in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
That's always like use 3 first names. Yet nobody's middle name is a surname unless you're really wealthy. If you're really wealthy, you're not shooting up the place. This is a digression. I apologize.
Blue skies from pain.
Can you tell blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? A smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Like John says, like it's confrontational, like it's a Facebook post. It's like, so can you tell the difference between this thing and that thing? Are you that confident? Can you do it? You don't think that I could muddy the waters and confuse you? It's almost like the opening of a movie where they're sort of like establishing. There's only 3 verses to this song. So in this first act, he's kind of like he's setting the tone. He's confronting you. He's challenging you, saying, "You think you can tell the difference between these things?" You think, I mean, they're fundamental differences. Surely you can tell the difference between heaven from hell, between blue skies and pain. It's almost like he's trying to ratchet it up as far as he possibly can. Like when I first heard this song, I thought it was blue skies and rain. It wasn't until, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, I realized it's blue skies and pain, which don't even go together. Like he's clearly saying, these are obvious things you should be able to tell the difference between, right? A smile from a veil, green field, cold steel rail, right?
Well, let me ask you a question, because if you've never heard the song and you're just reading the lyrics on paper, it does sound confrontational. But listening to the song, I mean, those opening, the music in the opening, you don't think it sets more of a somber tone?
It for sure it does.
Than harsh.
Yeah,
it's kind of one of those.
Absolutely does.
It's a style of it is. Yeah, there's like a heavy tone to it, and I'm sure when we get Chuck on, he'll be able to explain like the actual notes and the melodies that make you think that, right? Because there's that dun 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 dun. So it's got like an old fashioned, almost like a dirge. Wrote, it's the same kind of thing goes over and over again with the song, but it has a little bit of a slight upturn to it. So it's and feels folksy. There's innocence to the song too. And there's one thing, you look at all of Pink Floyd and just their British culture that those guys came from is so fucking steeped in World War II pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All like so much of British pop culture and just culture and their identity is World War II fucked them up real bad. And,
Roger Waters' dad died in the war.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's why it's so popular and so connected in Britain. Everyone that is their age, half of their dads and uncles are dead in World War II. It was just everybody. Plus the Blitzkrieg fucked them up, where they were just dropping from goddamn balloons downtown London. So they had a lot of civilian casualties as well. So the English people were not good, dude. So their curse words drip with World War II pain. You know what I mean? It's all about abandonment and just
I mean, their weather is
checking out.
Their weather is bad. Their food is bad. They got a lot of pain.
Well, their food is fantastic. Diane, my mother's listening.
Go eat a crumpet. You'll be fine.
On to the second verse.
Did you? Oh yeah, sure. That was only the first verse. Oh shit!
It's a short song.
Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? well, that sounds like a shitty trade. Like if I got a bunch of heroes and you got a bunch of ghosts, I'm absolutely not swapping my heroes for ghosts.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. That's terrible, right? Hot ashes for trees. If I've got nothing but hot ash and you've got trees, I'm making that trade every fucking time. I spent all day today trying to imagine a situation where I wouldn't trade hot ashes for trees. I absolutely will trade hot ashes for trees in every scenario.
I think though the tense is fucked up there. You're thinking that they're actually it's just that backwards English. They're hot ashes for your trees. So you didn't have the hot ashes and are getting trees. The trade is your hot ashes for trees though. So
it could be like, I
right?
think it's this is
it's
what I love
written
about
the back. Yeah, it's a lyrical move of flipping the sentence over, but it's implied that it's your hot ashes for your hot trees. Like it's a car dealer sales. I got hot ashes for your trees.
What's fun about song lyrics is the way that, especially this one, because this song is just wide open for just about any kind of interpretation. That's what makes it so. That's what, if you're a great song lyricist, you've written a song for everybody, no matter like I can take my whole personality and my whole feelings and put them on this song and get out of it whatever I want to get out of it. And I think that's the trick that he's pulling off here, like masterfully.
Yeah,
like, I have no doubt.
I agree.
Like you can take that both ways. Like who's got the hot ashes, who's got the trees? I don't know. Like the way it is, like word for word in the text, it looks like they're saying that I trade my hot ashes for trees. Hot air for a cold breeze. Well, fuck, I don't know, man. Like like which one? Each one is the relief of the other, right? If
that's
I'm
a tighter
hot,
trade,
I want a cold breeze. Yes, I don't know. Like we're flipping a coin here now. Is that what we're doing?
Well, think
Go ahead.
I was gonna say time of year. You know what I mean? If it's December and I've been walking from the convenience store back to my house, I'm gonna look for some hot air. Yeah. And if it's summertime, I'd love a cold breeze.
Well, I feel the same about the next lyric, cold comfort for change. It's like, which one is the bad one? Because I'm one of these people that loves change. It's always meant something good in my life. And there are people who are just fucking terrified of it. I mean, they really, really rail against any kind of change.
I'd be like, they're the ones that like the cold comfort.
I guess so.
Right? That's just every day is going to be regular.
What is cold comfort? I hate being cold. I hate it.
I feel like it always made me think of like suburb life, suburb life, 9 to 5, that gray British jobs. Yeah, exactly. That's cold comfort. Guess what? Congratulations. No more change. You get cold comfort, which is HEB circulars and plain dinner. Hell yeah.
I always thought of that line as like a devil's bargain. Like if I've already got cold comfort and somebody comes along and goes, I see you have some cold comfort. That sucks. Would you like it to change? And then all I would think to myself is like, well, that could go either way, couldn't it? Like things could get better or they could get worse. So I want to just sit here with my cold comfort and forget about the change, or roll the dice and takes your chances.
Yet I think too, it's your British sensibilities that you have, Ben. You understand the nature of Guy Fawkes, and this is a little bit of that. It's dude, all English lore is just ripe with the guy who nails the fucking things to the door of the crown, and just, so that's kind of I think that's the change that gets everyone riled up in British culture. About every 500 years, y'all need a good new William Wallace kind of fucking guy to yell.
Like
exactly
a proper down with this sort of thing moment.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's fun. Hey, that's why I think Britain still likes America a little bit. We said fuck you and we won the little skirmish and they didn't want to come back and they're like, oh, you guys, you fucking guys. You know what? I like you. You fucking hit me real bad. I'm gonna let you go.
We're going to stay tied together through the centuries, and we're even going to go through this horrible bullshit as close together as we can possibly get.
It's like, you'll be back. We're the only ones who's talking the same. You'll be back.
Sort of.
You get tired of Australia. They're cool. Canada, they're fine. But they're all, you guys all, you know who daddy is.
We still sound smarter, but you know.
That's right.
This next line is where my Mr. Curmudgeonly, begrudgingly really kind of comes across, because I know I know what he. Okay, we'll just everybody knows it.
All right.
Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage?
Oh, that's beautiful. Hold on, I'm sorry. I had to. 21-year-old me has a completely different opinion of this song than 44-year-old me does.
We're gonna get into that. What this meant to us when we heard it, and what. Oh, yeah. And then finding out what it was really fucking about, which was okay. We'll get into that. Let's talk about these two lines.
This line, I think, really shaped my opinion of this song for the longest time. I didn't say it earlier, but this song always sounds to me like a prison ballad, and I don't know who's playing the guitar. I don't know who's singing. Is it the prison guard or is it the guy in prison? Like, it always has sounded that way because of this line for a lead role in a cage. Yeah. Like, is the lead singer sitting in the cage, or is this like, is it a prison guard trying to console him, or a prison guard trying to taunt him? Like, I don't know, but that's the headspace that I always ran to every time I heard this song.
Without saying what the song's actually about and what I thought it was about when I first heard it, when I just read the line on paper, a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in the cage, I think a walk-on part in the war is like an extra in this hard life, or a lead role, the star in the limelight, but in a mental prison. Yeah.
And I always like John was saying earlier about it being like World War II or World War I. I always thought of like the walk-on part in a war being like the guy who in the trenches who goes over the top and, like, you know, Gallipoli gets the full-on bullet in the chest the first 3 seconds he steps into the war, right?
Every British family, you'd be amazed, like the whole imagery, like, you know, the propaganda war posters, the ones from Britain of the, you know, of Tommy running over the thing and just getting mowed down because they did by the tens of thousands. That was like, that is exactly what that's perfect English World War I, World War II imagery. That was just part of everybody's story, right? Because that's what they would always say every time they lost their grandpas, uncles, and all that other shit in the war. They're like, oh yeah, you know what? Hey, they were at the Bulge, and he was one of 30,000, and he just ran straight for head first right into a fucking tank, and it was amazing. You know, that was like, that's the slice of fucking pride we got. So now we got a pizza shop, and it's fucking exploding Sal's pizzas. It's fucking great, you know. That's how your family earns glory, man, by being that walk-on part in the war. You know, you get your fucking pile of silver, your flag, fucking your business license, get after it. I always thought the cage. I'm sorry, Ben. It's funny that you guys went to the prison thing, because I very rarely, when I first got into this song as a kid, I always pictured it more like a bird in a cage, like a bird cage. Like, yeah, it was because I've also heard in other Pink Floyd songs, like a lot of bird references and like canaries and shit like that. And they did a canary in a coal mine reference.
Right.
So I want to kind of think that in the context of that, I kind of was thinking more of that direction, just what the band kind of uses themselves. But I never really pictured like the full blown, you know, in prison sadness cage or the Tower of London. That would be the kind of imagery they would use. But right. But just that bird in the cage, because that's the lead role in the cage. I pictured the pretty little songbird that's in a cage. It's gonna, you know, die in a week.
For that some reason, that line always reminded me of things like Nelson Mandela writing a book in prison, or Martin Luther King and you know, letter from a prison cell in Alabama, or who am I kidding? Oscar Wilde. Like, yeah. It's just like that's where it starts. Like, you're in the cage. Like, you got all the time in the world to think about it and to inform people and influence people. Like, every time I heard that line from the get-go, I was like, you can tell from the way that it's presented and the way it's sung, and of course what Roger Waters has said about it later on. Like, he obviously thinks that you should take the walk-on part in the war. And I've always thought, give me the cage, man. Give me the cage.
I can see you wanting the cage. Ben wants to write that fucking novel, man. Leave him alone.
I mean, this really both of those choices suck, but give me the cage.
I think this song is a lot like that weird, there's a sonic tone that you hear different at different ages of your life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's certain tones in like dance club music that people in their 20s don't hear the same way we do. Once you get to 35, 40, you hear things different, and they don't hear the things that you hear. You actually literally are tuned in different phases.
Yeah.
And I think this song is one of those things where it depends what age you're at, is how quickly you align down the choices in the flow chart of this song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, when you're young and pissed off and just fuck yeah, I'm looking for my drive, you are rock hard fucking warrior, lead role, walk on part of the war. Fucking give me the change. I'll take the trees. Then I'll go with Cool Breeze. We're gonna go trees with Cool Breeze.
We're like looking at the menu at McDonald's. Let's see.
I want to pick the wrong one accidentally. Like, oh fuck, I got hot ash. I didn't mean hot ash. I thought they flipped that one and it messed me up in the song. But you get older, you start thinking like you were saying, Diane. Like you're like, you know what? Cold Comfort's pretty nice, man. Cold Comfort's a nice house, and holidays at my place, and we got the green egg, and we got a patio we just put in. People like coming over. It's a fun place.
I got a pool.
I don't need more of this fucking change. Change fucks up my game. I won't work too hard to accept. So that you get older and you start wanting that stuff. Or maybe like you're like, I bet you know what? I bet Governor Abbott, he would take hot ashes.
Run off with the trees and leave us with the hot ashes.
Fuck trees.
That's really true. Like when you're younger, you hear like the call to arms, and as you get older, I think you start to hear like the call to community, which I think is what's coming up in the third verse. It's like how I wish you were here, which is the title of the song, and that's the first time we hear it.
And then here we go.
Did anybody want to do it? Should we do it together?
Are you singing? Are we singing? So we can't use we can't play it because it'll get busted on YouTube for copyright.
Should we let Chuck in now and let Chuck play it? And
absolutely. We got a couple drinks in us.
Chuck out.
Hold on. No, I told him I was going to let him in. Hold on. Talk amongst yourself. I'm going to send Chuck the meeting number and the password.
I read up a little bit about the song. While you're looking for him, I'll talk about what I liked about reading about the song. Was that Roger Waters basically wrote a song lyric wise that was like all of Roger Waters' songs, just completely selfish, self-centered. Let everybody hear the words that make me. Let me tell you how I feel about everything. He was such a princess when it came to being a songwriter.
Let me bleed into your ears.
Yes. Everything was autobiographical. He could not imagine a world outside of his own ass. And great artist.
I just spit.
Can't argue with the results. I mean, fuck it. People get. Maybe Michelangelo was an amazing artist, but could only paint while yelling the N-word. Hey, he's dead now. No one's around. It's his process. But David Gilmour, who even when Roger Waters was with the band when it first came out, he sings the entire song. There's no Roger Waters part. He's in the fucking back with the tambourine that's not plugged in with the microphone.
Yeah.
All quiet. While David Gilmour is playing the fucking Stratocaster and just popping this song out. And to this day, like it's Dave Gilmour's go-to signature. If he's got one, if it's some big Live Aid 13, this time it's real concert. He's got, okay, I need the Perth orchestra. I need a Fender Stratocaster.
Oh, hey!
What's up, big man?
What's up, dude?
Oh, he can't hear you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Here, put that in your ear. They're saying hi to you, buddy.
Oh, hi, buddy.
Say hi, Keaton.
Hello, Keaton.
Hi, Keaton.
Oh, there it went. Oh, he lost it again. He's bad at this.
John's crush.
He is not good at this. He wants me to make him a peanut butter sandwich, and that's a hard pass.
That's a hard pass.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
John and I were talking about like being in quarantine with our kids. We've learned some tricks, like when they're like, "Mommy, do you want to do this?" And I've learned to go, "No, thank you." Not interested.
Yeah, that's fun. Do you like that when mommy says no? Yeah, it's your jam. It's tripping him out that he can hear in his ear. Look at him like little Brian Williams, like, We're coming to you live from Kosovo.
I'm Diane.
Say hi, Diane.
Hi.
He's killing it.
Where the hell is Chuck? Come on, Chuck.
Do you like Wish You Were Here? Real quick, you decide. Well, let's go down the list, Ben. What was the flow chart of questions? Let's see what a 4-year-old would say. You pick which one you like better, okay?
Keaton, heroes or ghosts?
Heroes or ghosts? Which one do you like?
Maybe like ghosts. They They scare people.
He's going to go with
Yeah.
ghosts. Kid goes with
Yeah.
ghosts because they scare people. That's great. Great
scare
answer.
people.
Ghosts. I like that.
Yeah. All right, what else? What's the next one? Hot at
You know, wait a second. We got to analyze this. Heroes scare people too. I think.
You know,
I think.
Oh no,
Keaton
he's
has
in
just
Batman
found the
world.
commonality between these characters.
oh, he's giving you the look. He'd like to move on to the next question. He does not like being challenged.
Keaton, hot ashes for trees.
Hot ashes or trees?
Maybe hot asses.
He's going with hot ashes. He says hot ashes. Oh wow. I did not think you were going to go hot ashes. Well, you don't like the trees that we have at the house? Do you like the trees?
Yeah.
But you'd rather have hot ashes? Okay. Hey, the kid made his choice. What's the next one?
You got your hands full, John. He's a natural contrarian.
Is it cold comfort or change?
No, it's hot air or cold breeze.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hot air or a cool breeze? Which would you like, Keaton? Hot air, cool breeze. What's that?
2.
2? Number
No,
2?
cool breeze.
No.
Oh.
Oh, he
Hold
wants both of them. Oh, okay. He
Ah.
means 2, as in he wants both of them. He wants hot air and cool breezes.
That's what we said, dude. It depends on the time of year.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's cool. All right. And what was the next one? I'm sorry.
The next one is cold comfort or change.
Cold comfort or change? You like change or cold comfort?
Both of them.
He wants both of them. He wants.
I see his game. I'm on to his game.
Well, look at this Generation Z right here.
Yeah.
No,
They want
you
it
old
all.
ass boomers, we're gonna have it all. We got cold comfort and change.
Yeah.
We got hot ashes. Fuck them trees. Right? Sorry, he loves it. He loves.
Hey, John, out of all your kids, which one is the most likely to follow in your footsteps of entertainment?
Ooh, that's tough.
Can I give it to you?
Yeah, you can give it to me. Are you ready to go away?
No, give them to
Me?
Oh, give
I'll
it to
take
them.
it.
Okay, here, I'll give it to
Take it.
Here you go.
Thank
You take that. Nice.
Got it.
Put it over there. All right, go away. Oh, look, he fades in the darkness. Oh, he's gone. He's
Can I
gone.
do that? Oh,
Where did he
no.
go? Where did he go? Look, you can't see him anymore. He's gone. He's
Bye, Keith.
he's back. He's a monster. Okay, go away.
Okay, go away.
Go away, kid. You bother me.
Oh, he's back. John, he's so cute. You lie in your
he's
acts.
great. He's awesome.
Okay, so I text Chuck and I'm like, hey, is that link working? And he said, chill. Let me do this.
He said, chill. You don't rush a musician.
All right.
He's like, yeah, we haven't done sound check yet. And, we're
So
still
for
loading
people, people know who we're waiting for. This is Chuck Savage, the guy that does our amazing opening theme music. Him and Eddie Hawkins. He's
I
also.
didn't know y'all had a theme song. I haven't heard the theme song. Let me hear that. Can you play it now? Can you play it?
Him and Eddie do the Clash. They do Rock the Casbah. It's pretty fucking great.
That's pretty good.
It sounds so dead on. I thought we were going to get in trouble for it. It's really good.
You know what? Chuck is really, really good. A great musician. Toured professionally for a long time. And I tell you what, he knows how to bend a note every now and then to make it. This is not legally that song.
There he comes.
Uh-oh, there he is.
Yay!
What's up, Chuck?
Can you hear me? Yes or no?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hold on, we want to talk to you for a bit first. Don't go right into playing.
I'm not. I'll play when I feel like playing there, Smarty.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
I told you don't.
Chuck is bossy.
The show starts when Chuck fucking gets here.
That's
All
right.
I'm
About
talking about. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
love you, Chuck. Good to see you, Chuck.
See you.
I can barely hear you.
We were bragging on you a little bit. I think we've talked about it before. A lot of people don't know that this is my favorite brag, that which album is it of God, why am I brain farting? The comedian that everyone loves.
Mitch
Mitch
Hedberg.
Which Mitch Hedberg album is that you play on?
It's his first one called Strategic Grill Locations. Can I turn a light on? I'm wet.
Yeah.
You know,
Are you wearing pants? It looks like you're at a murder scene there.
I know.
It's almost like I'm kind of like I'm like the Bigfoot in the Mitch's joke. I'm out of focus. I'm like,
Put some light on the subject, young man.
this is a little better.
Pants or no
Sitting there
pants?
in
You
the
guys real quick.
dark.
Pants or no pants?
Oh,
Shorts.
Oh,
Shorts.
No, that
Yeah,
doesn't
that's a
help
little
me.
better.
Shorts. I've got pants on. Yeah.
Are those basketball shorts or?
Sometimes.
Hey,
My
Doug.
dog's back there. That's
What's
my
up, Doug?
guitar tech.
it still looks like Chuck traded a walk-on part in the war for a full-time in the cage.
That's America.
That's right. That's the American dream. The American dream is taking the cage gig.
Exactly. So you guys have been torturing Johnny here on your show here? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
No, he's been great.
They called me bad names, Mr. Wally. Treat me like a dog.
I hate when that happens. Damn. No, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I got a text from Diane about 10 minutes ago, and it was like, "Hey, you ready?" And I was like, "Oh no, I was watching the television, just sitting on my couch."
I was watching that.
I
Oh, is that-
not in at all? You know.
Was that
And, I
today?
never rehearsed it or anything like this, but I actually know what you want to do, and I'm kind of ready to do it. I'll fake it. Pretty
How many times have you played this song, Chuck? How many times, and if you had to guess in your life wholesale, how many times have you played Wish You Were Here?
Never in a club ever. Never
Really?
in a club. Never in a club environment. Usually just sitting around my apartment. Hey, what's up? Yeah.
Of course.
Is that the
It's
song?
gonna fall off his neck.
Yeah.
Is that the song?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Here,
Yeah.
you know what?
That's
I can
all
tell what's
remember of
happening.
it, but I'll fake the rest of it when we get into this. But yeah, I just want to make sure we're all good, you know, because yeah. Hey, because I remember the thing was, it's gonna be a drunken thing. We're gonna do this drunken version of it. So I remember the getting drunken part.
Yes,
I
Chucky.
nailed that part. Much like when I did John's podcast. It was
That was a good time.
It's
That was a
rock and roll
great
party.
time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but
Yeah, it was a scene. We had a scene.
not a party.
No,
It's
it's
a
a scene. You can lay back. You know, seen be seen. Scene.
But anyhow, yeah, no. And let me say one more thing too is that little intro. If people don't know it, the new intro for the show, it's Rock the Cash Bar. It's a version of the Rock the Cash Bar. People don't know it, but Ben and Diane have been asking me for like a month or 2 months to get that version of it going. And I was like, well, let me wait. I need to find the right person to work with on it. I know a guy. I got it. And the point being that I'm glad you guys waited for me to get that finished because that guy nailed that piano part. Eddie Hawkins,
Dude.
Yeah,
he
he
really
did.
nailed it. And that you build the whole thing around that piano part, you know?
Yep.
He sent me 2 versions of that, and I just built the whole thing around that, you know, and it was like, he's a great player. So Eddie Hawkins, rock and roll. And
Eddie Hawkins,
I got
thank
that
you.
Thank you, Eddie.
it was really cool, you know. It was when I heard it, I was like, damn, dude, you know, they're gonna love it, you know. I knew I just throw it. I played the guitar, the bass, and I created the drums on it, you know.
Yeah.
And then he played the 2.
It's amazing though. Thank you so much.
But no, I'm just saying, you know, that he when I heard it, I was like, oh my God, they're gonna love this. I spent literally about an hour and a half on the rest of it and just cranked it and sent it to you immediately. She was at the beach, he was over somewhere hanging out.
It was the greatest surprise. I mean, it was so good. I was like, we're gonna get in trouble. Like they're gonna think we ripped off the actual Clash. It's so good.
It's funny. And so, you know, anyhow, that's it.
All right. Let's jam.
So what are we doing here exactly? You guys didn't really, you know, we're on some sort of little show here.
Well, you know, we were going through the lyrics and we
Yeah.
got to how I wish you were here. And this is, you know, right before everybody starts drunkenly swaying, saying we're just 2 lost souls. I feel like that's a group thing, you know?
Sure.
Do you wanna pick it up
Like,
right
I don't
at
really
the-
know it perfectly, but we're gonna work it out together. Okay.
We'll
We
play.
can do let's do the third verse. Just the third verse. So we start with how I wish you were here.
All right, so you go.
And my Axl Rose.
Mhm.
Where's to go from there? I don't know. Start. We're gonna meet, guys. We're gonna work together.
I
I was
know.
following your lead. I thought
They're
you were
not
gonna-
Yeah.
in a band, apparently.
I was going to start singing when you started singing because I have no idea when to start.
I say, I can pull up the tablature. Is that what you were looking for? I don't know how to yell it. Like, I think it's an E. Go to the E. Comes back down again. Swings back around with that first coda. Do the coda.
I don't even know what that means.
Hang on a second. Let me see here.
Chucky, I love you, man. I miss you, Chuck Savage. I miss you. For those of you who don't know, me and Chuck Savage are brothers in blood.
We have been down the road many times.
That's right. We are elite. We are like world class brothers. Like we killed a hooker together in Alaska. It was amazing. Awesome. Yeah, 50 states in 50 days together. Me and Chuck.
That was awesome.
Chuck and Tommy. Oh, dude, you do something like that, and you never go back. You never go back, do you, Chuck? You know what I mean? Hey, Chucky, would this technically, if you're playing guitar and I sing at any point, would this constitute a reunion of the Baloney Fadeaways? Yes. Oh, I got to call Tommy. Yeah, this would be the Baloney Fadeaways.
I know what that means.
I was really hoping, Diane, that you would be the one to ask them to explain what it means.
No, I know what it means.
Hey, John explained.
Rob Bungle explained it to me one time.
Well, that's funny. That's funny. That was probably completely unrelated.
Our band. So here's what I got. So you think you can tell? Blue skies
from pain.
Can you tell a green field from a
cold steel rail?
I'm waiting.
Guys, what are we doing here?
Let's get to How I Wish.
How I wish. Wait a minute. Hang on. My lyrics ran out right
there. You were here. I think the next line is you were here.
How I wish.
How I wish you were here. Oh, we're not synced up. We're just
that's the hard part of Zoom.
Swimming in a fishbowl.
Year after year.
Running over the same old ground.
How we found same old fears. Wish you were here. All right, that was a disaster, but I'm so glad we did it.
It was a beautiful disaster.
Oh, yeah.
All in all, it's a great quarantine song because look at us. We're on Zoom, and if we could do this together, how fucking fun would it be in person?
I think what sucks about the quarantine is that now we have all been subjugated to walk-on parts in a cage.
We didn't have a choice.
Got hot tree ash, steel rail, and warm breeze. This doesn't make any sense.
No.
All mixed up together. That's what's fun to me about this song is like it doesn't matter what extreme you're coming from. This is like not your apology song, but it's like you're looking for common ground song, right? Like if you're anti-mask, if you're anti-vaccines, if you think Bill Gates is trying to inject you with a tracking chip, this is the song that you're going to sing to like the Sierra Club liberal Obama era trial lawyer ponytailed hippie who is like
right.
It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, you're going to try to connect through Wish You Were Here. And we all do it.
You're going to cut it with your own shit. And
so wait, hold on, Ben. I'm gonna test your theory here. So what you're saying is, if you're following like the Ayn Randian teachings of Pink Floyd in the "Wish You Were Here" flowchart of life choices, right? And someone wants you to wear a mask in the face of the COVID-19 virus, and you say, "Look here, young man, my freedoms are more important. All right, I don't care that I'm gonna die. I'm choosing change over cold comfort." Hot ashes over trees. I'll take those. I like cold breeze. We go cold breeze. Ghosts. Definitely ghosts.
Veils.
Yeah, I'm a ghost.
I love hell.
And you know what? Hell's great. I'm gonna take the walk-on part in the war. So I tell you what, I'm gonna live my life like a coal rolling, cocksucking fucking. I work at Halliburton, motherfucker. All right, and then all of a sudden, I'm off a little bit, and some blood comes up in my hand. I'm gonna drive out to fucking West Texas, and I'm just gonna shoot as many things as I see, and I'm gonna dig for gold until I die in a waller somewhere in a fucking ditch of the Rio Grande. That's pretty much that is the wish you were here. As a,
I think that's the trap that's built into the song, because I think that like fundamentally the theme of this song is basically it's called "I Wish You Were Here." It's like, I wish you thought of things the way that I think of them. I wish you could stand right here in my shoes where I am, and you could see what I see.
Should we get into?
That's good. I didn't think about it.
No, that is good. Yeah, I wish you were here on my level of consciousness right now, which is, we can get into what the song is about. Well, we can do a round table real quick. The first time you heard the song, what did you think it was about?
I thought it was about Sid Barrett.
Yes.
Well, you're so fucking smart, Chuck.
Hey.
I love it. You know what? I'll be
It's
right
just
back.
coming from a teenage.
My drink's empty. I'll be right back.
Oh shit!
Come
I was
back.
gonna say Sid Barrett, the guy in Pink Floyd who had died, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, okay, I was gonna say, just as a teenage girl hearing it, it's just a girl that's missing a guy. I wish you were here. I completely fucked off the first two verses. Like, that's yada yada yada. Let's get to the emotional. Like, I wish you were here. I love you.
By the way, I put these pants on. I didn't.
That's
I
good.
Put them on further.
Oh, thank you.
Like personally, or
No.
Do you guys want to say what you thought it was about, or do you want to go right into Sid Barrett?
I think the first time I heard this song, it had to be like Campfire. Like this song has always been there with me. I don't remember hearing it for the first time, but I do remember many instances when I was young of like sitting around a campfire and somebody pulling out the guitar and singing this song, "Wish You Were Here," which always, like, to me, like started like a great big like eye roll. Obviously, because I was jealous, what I mean? Like, who's this guy with the guitar pulling focus? How dare you dedicate yourself to entertaining people?
I was hooking up with this
Fuck
girl. I was so close, and then you come in. Yeah.
And you come in being all sweet and sensitive. So I always kind of like, I don't know, like I always had a weird level of negativity for this song for two reasons: because of the acoustic guitar thing, but then also because I always felt, because I'm so definitely on the I'll take the lead role in the cage, I feel like I'm at the opposite end of this one. Like, I've always felt a little bit weird about this one.
John?
I think it's if you listen to this when you're a teenager, maybe early 20s, you can. And I like your take on it, Diane. That was pretty nice. Like, it was, if you just fuck off those first two, blah blah blah. It's like blah blah. I wish you were here. I wish you were here. Right? I just wish you were here. Okay.
Miss you.
When I hear that song, the one that's like, wish you were here.
We're like lost souls without each other. Something about a fishbowl.
Yeah. I think this is where this turns into like the long distance relationship love song.
Yes.
This is the early 20s. You doing there, maybe it was a college thing. Everyone went home, blah, 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 whatever. People are 1,000 miles apart from each other and want a bone in a pre-internet, cheap Southwest flight era, which is when this song came out. Right.
This
so
is
like,
you up. Wish you were here.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, what was that thing about hell and ashes and cold steel rails? Oh,
that's
no,
like weird poetry.
I get when I
it's
drink.
not important.
Yeah, I just wish you were here. We're just
most of American kids, and guys, I'm older than you guys, obviously.
Not by much.
Didn't really understand Pink Floyd until The Wall came out.
Exactly.
And they went back and discovered these other things.
Right.
Like,
that's what everybody learned about Sid Barrett. And
here, Wish You Were Here was its own album.
Yeah.
Wish You Were Here, I think, right?
Yeah, it was.
On the front cover, they're shaking hands.
Yeah, with the guy that looks just like Trump on fire.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Too soon. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. No, just really and truly, guys. It's you know.
What's your favorite Pink Floyd album then? Like you said, Chuck, the Wall broke him to everyone.
The one that really kind
Dark
of
Side, yeah,
is like the Van Halen one.
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's how it works. You know?
Okay, here's always the trick because that's the obvious easy one, right? That's the okay.
For me,
If you had to leave that one out, like not counting Dark Side, then what Pink
Right.
Floyd album do you like?
you know, and then I go to the Wall.
I gotta go to the
All
Wall.
right, fair enough.
I was riding
Gotta
the
go to the
bus
Wall.
and like as a sophomore, or freshman in high school when the Wall came out.
Oh, that's
Imagine
that's in the
that.
sweet spot. Yeah.
And it was all about, like, tear down the wall, you don't have to put up with your parents and all this shit. And it was like, you don't have to go to school and you don't have to eat your pudding or whatever this shit, It was
Well,
like,
another brick in the wall was in the same, right? It was
Yeah,
we
it was
don't
like,
need no. I can imagine if
and it was just
can you imagine if that came out when you were in fucking high school? I mean, shit, I graduated in
God.
'93 and it was fresh enough that we were like,
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
yeah.
I graduated.
no.
I graduated in '82,
Yeah.
and the album came out like in '80, I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
The Wall, I think the Wall was 1980.
I'm
The Wall connects hard with any generation that listens to it.
Sure, it's good stuff.
They finally let
That's
Roger
the
Waters go
here's the
crazy
thing,
with
that's
all
the
that
Roger
fucking World War II
Waters.
shit.
That's the
Yeah.
Roger Waters side of Pink Floyd. You have to understand there's two sides of Pink Floyd.
Right.
There's the Roger Waters side and the David Gilmour side.
Right.
Because Sid Barrett's gone, and the rest of the band were just kind of keyboard guys that really just, that's how keyboard players are. They just kind of lay back and look cool. They don't get involved in the politics of the band. But those two guys were the main guys in the band. And if you go watch, Roger Waters has his own version of the Wall video. It's like 2.5, 3 hours long on Showtime. You can watch it. And he's got his own band put together, and the band is like incredible,
Very tight.
He's got guys singing with him. It's really good. But then the flip side of it is it's guitar driven rock. And that's David Gilmour.
Yeah.
And David Gilmour had this ability to do one thing. It was called a double stop. And I can't do it on this guitar. But basically he'd go, but he wouldn't go, he'd go, that, there was a little, it's called a double stop. And when you listen to Pink Floyd solos, you'll hear that. When in his solos, he'll go, it's a thing he does with his guitar that Eric Clapton didn't do it. It's a David Gilmour thing. He has this perfect double stop start to his solos, and you'll hear it in a lot of his solos. I got
some homework.
All over the Wall album, and all over the one that I said before.
Hey, Chuck.
With the laser. What's it
Chuck.
Dark Side.
Dark Side.
Chuck.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Chuck, you're there in I can see you're in your piano room, your studio and all that. You got to have an electric or a bass or something around. What can you plug in and get loud with?
Well, I mean, I've got back in there. I can show
let's
you.
see.
Back there, I've got, there's an upright back in that corner over there. You see that in the corner there?
Yeah.
What's the loudest thing you can play that? Dun, 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 dun,
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to I don't know if you're hearing. Are you hearing?
But you got to put more pants on.
You see this microphone right here? Wait, you see this microphone? I'm going to scratch it once. My cables are all tight right now. But
Oh yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah.
scratch.
that's what you're listening. Are you listening to this microphone right here?
That's so much better. Yeah.
excellent. That's excellent.
Okay.
That's
So in
Sara
other words,
Wessling.
I could turn this microphone off and plug a guitar cord in with anything and play loud. I wouldn't be able to talk anymore, which is a good thing off in America. But
You can't do both. You don't have a hot amp nearby that you could plug something in through.
And I'll tell you what's really cool is this thing behind me with the light on it.
Yeah.
That's a
What is that? It's a dog.
Wurlitzer. It's a
Dog is from '73.
Wurlitzer.
It's not a Wurlitzer. I'm getting silly with you guys.
That's the
Yeah.
jukebox.
You got the Hammond B3.
Fender Rhodes behind me.
Yeah. You got the Hammond B3.
No, it's a Fender Rhodes. I'll show you. Watch.
You got the Hammond B3.
We're gonna spiral out of control,
I'm
but
sorry.
I'm here for
I'm
it.
sorry, you
I'm
guys.
here
Yeah.
for it.
No, if he has something he can plug in, this is about to get really, really good.
Yeah.
That's why I keep poking him for it. Because look at you in your goddamn Columbia shorts. I see him. I see those flip flops.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that dude.
I
So
love
while
'em.
he's doing that, can we just tell the audience who doesn't know that this song was about Sid Barrett's fall into insanity? That's what they wrote it about.
Yeah, Sid Barrett was
Too much
the
acid.
driving creative force behind the first iteration of Pink Floyd. but then he charred his brain to cinders, much like Peter Green from Fleetwood Mac with LSD.
Yeah.
Way too much acid. Like Rocky Erickson.
And hearing your friend write about you saying, I wish you were here, and realizing he means like your friend is physically in front of you, but he's not there anymore, is heartbreaking. Like, that's
like
so
I want
sad.
you to come back.
Yeah, I miss you. I miss shooting the shit with you, and you're fucking crazy now. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I think that it's a trap. Like it's a story in 3 acts. Like in the first verse, he's saying, so you think you can tell the difference between these obvious things. So you think you can tell this shitty thing from that good thing. But in the second verse, he's saying, can you tell the difference between these abstract things?
Yeah.
Can you tell as I'm changing nouns, as I'm changing words around, can you still follow the story? No, you can't. I wish you were here. I wish you were back here with me. I wish your mind wasn't gone.
Cry.
Oh, I know.
So sad.
Oh, fuck, dude.
I know. Thanks, John.
Damn, dude. Oh, no, Ben, you're a master of words. Ben, you are an empath. You are a sweetheart, and I'd hate to hear you get drunk and then break down like all of you too.
Did you not listen to one?
Oh,
we covered one.
And that is only but one. Yeah. You drive with him to El Paso and back, and you'll get all the way through the Joshua Tree. You'll go through Sunday, Bloody Sunday. You do like fucking B-sides. This one was only released in Glasgow. Like, oh.
John was like,
I loved it.
Poor Diane took a 90-minute ear banging from me.
I was at the beach. I had just spent like 8 hours in the sun, drinking heavily, and then I had to sit down like, okay, Day, we're going to do a serious podcast. And then Ben hits me with you two like machine gun fire. I'm just like, I could just say, right? Right. Right. I try my best.
That's funny. That was ouch.
Oh, Chuck, what you doing over there? I don't hear that, whatever this is. Love
you know
cats.
What? Here, I'm going to mute myself because I think you.
Okay, good idea. My dogs are barking. I hope you can't hear it.
Go play, Chuck. Chuck, you play so that we're all going to mute so that we can get good, clear audio.
Yeah, I'll mute now.
This looks like a Bass Pro Shops concert.
Can you hear it? Yeah. Big finish. There. That was really drunk and stupid. Thank you.
Do we get everyone back?
I love seeing Chuck.
Yay!
I'm back.
Yay, Chuck. Dude, that was a nice jam. Oh, man. That was, who did that remind me of?
It was sweet soul music.
That was like the Dave Brubeck 5.
For Steely Dan? Donald
The Steely
Fagen.
Dan? Oh.
The lead singer for Steely Dan. That was from his solo album in 1982 called the Night. It's about a DJ. I forget the name of the album, but that's called The New Frontier, and that was his big song. That was his big MTV push of his solo career. It's called The New Frontier, and often sound men at concerts will play Donald Fagen and or Steely Dan music because it's recorded so purely they can listen to it and tune they can listen
Really?
to the sound coming out of the speakers and tune the whole system to Steely Dan. Or
Oh,
Donald Fagen music.
interesting.
Especially that song right there called New Frontier by Donald Fagen off the album. It's called look it up, Donald Fagen. The Night. It's about a night DJ. I forget the name of the album, but whatever. Great album.
Trip.
You'll love it.
All right. Thank you.
Chuck, you are the man, dude. That was nice. That was soothing.
That was soothing.
It sounds really drunkenly played, but you get the feel of what I was trying to get to. You know,
It
We
was
do.
drunkenly listened to. So
It was
we were
easy
grooving.
listening.
We
I was
were
doing
doing a drunken
dance.
jam. I'm the only one who remembered it clearly.
That's true.
Part of the invite I got.
I don't have any instruments here I can play.
Chuck, you've played in a lot of bands, and I don't think any of the rest of us have.
No.
But we've done a couple of different podcasts about bands that had like really big internal conflicts, like Fleetwood Mac and obviously like Pink Floyd. Like,
I read about that recently. After seeing some-
have you ever been in a band that had like creative differences like that? And like, where do they spring from, and how do they get settled? I mean,
Yeah, how's
don't
that
name any
resolved?
names, but
Well, the obvious answer is this. I played briefly, I was in the Super Suckers, and they've gone through a lot of personnel changes over the last few years. But that's about business, and they're just businessmen at this point. The Super Suckers are really rockers, and they're really good at what they do. And Eddie Spaghetti's the main guy. So basically, now what you see is Eddie Spaghetti with two guys doing the Super Suckers music. But back in the day when the Super Suckers were together and they were on like Sub Pop, and they were getting pushed by those guys out of Seattle, same time that Nirvana and all those guys were, and the lead guitar player of the Super Suckers was hanging out and partying with those folks like in Nirvana and that other band, chick singer, while they were out of But you know what I mean, and it's like they were really deep into it, and now they're just out there rocking, and they're really great band to go see. Playing with Jesse Dayton, it was a
Can you get closer to a microphone?
Sure, yeah, playing with Jesse Dayton.
Oh, thank you.
It was kind of weird because, Jesse is, and I don't want to go too crazy here, but he's his own animal. He creates his own persona daily, and then he goes and lives it. So in other words, he says, "I'm going to be this guy," and tells everybody he's this guy, and then he becomes that guy, and that's what
fun.
he does. And that's a healthy, in its own weird way, it's healthy, but
it can get you into a lot of trouble. I kind of do that too.
Yeah, I do too.
Wait.
I do it all the time, and it's a good way to live. If you think about it, it's a good way to take on life. It's like, like right now, the job, it's like, these guys,
Now I'm
they
this
believe
guy.
me.
Oh, hold on,
I've
Chuck.
done it for several years, and it works, and everything.
Chuck, so how would he do that? Like, hi Maya, hi guys, meeting time. Hey, look, I just want y'all
The funniest
know.
version of that is, he goes, "Hey man," you go, "Hey man."
Hey, man.
I think it was, "Hey man." And one time, Ricky Vasquez was our drummer, and this is a great story. It's real quick. There's a guy up in Deep Ellum, has a barbershop, and he's a rockabilly barbershop, and he's always doing his hair with the whole pompadour, like the whole, the entire, grease thing going on his hair and everything, And so it's like, but he stutters really bad. The guy that owns this, I don't remember his name. He stutters
shit.
really bad. And so our drummer went in there to get a haircut one time, and he goes, hey Richie, hey man, hey, what you've been playing the drums? Who you been playing with? He goes, man, I've been playing with this guy named Jesse Dayton. He goes, Jesse, hey man.
Hey man.
It was like that. He knew the guy. He just goes. He goes. Hey man.
Hey man.
He felt that better than I do, but it really happened to him one day. It's a true story. It's funny.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and I don't want to disparage Jesse by any means.
Oh, he's a great dude.
No.
Really.
And he's
Yeah.
good at creating his own. He's good at this. People should take note of what he does. He's good at it. He's one of the
Hey-
best at creating his
hey,
own
guys.
persona and then living it.
Hey,
Instead of
man.
living it and then having the persona, he just creates it. And then lives it. And he's
Hey.
good at it.
I want everyone to know, man, I really like chicken fried steak. All right.
Oh, it's
So, man, anybody asks, like, hey, what's one thing you know about Jesse? You tell him, hey, man, he loves chicken fried steak.
the other one was this. The other one was this, John. What you're trying to remember is this. It was this. He
The
goes,
shake.
he goes, the shake. The shake. It's all rich.
Yeah, my kids do it. We do it like this. Man, that shake is rich.
Thick. That's just
Like, you got to think it's still like, man, that
yeah,
shake
you gotta spit.
is thick and rich.
John, you look and sound exactly like one of my drunk uncles right now. Maya,
That's what I was going with.
that truck.
Hey, hey,
I,
y'all need to get them wheels balanced. I saw y'all hit that cattle gate real hard, and I was like,
which one has you been stepping on the car with cow shit on your feet? That happened.
you get the fuck down there. Sorry, that's a lot of that in my house.
All right, we need to get focused. I'm sorry. I have the clipboard. I'm the bitch here.
And do we have more to, was it? We still on? Are we still live? This is live.
Yeah,
Yes?
yeah, we are. Are we done talking about Wish You Were Here, or do we have more to say on it?
I have one more question about it. I'd like to ask Chuck,
Yeah.
since I know he's an expert in this sort of music. David Gilmour refers when people ask him about this song, and it's still one of the ones he does every time he does big shows.
Wish you were here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wish You Were Here. He refers to it as like a little country song. Like he sees it like a country song.
I
Do you
see
think is it written like a country song? Like you're a man who's played in those worlds, and
Yeah.
it fits seamlessly into a set you're doing?
Do you know why it's like that? Tell you why. And this is if you want to know why. I mean,
Get
Is
close
it the
to the mic.
progression of the chords?
no, the key.
Okay.
So it's in let me get the guitar back so I can remember.
Oh God.
Oh shit!
Here, hang on.
Get the
So-
guitar
I feel
back.
like I can answer that by just saying burn, burn, burn.
But it's like here's like it goes like this.
That's why.
That's an E minor. It's an E minor, okay? It goes. There's a G, okay? That's a G. It goes. You're back in E minor again. You go. Then you're back at G. You go to A minor. It goes. And it goes back. And it goes back to G. And the point is, the song's in G. And G. And then it goes, when it goes to the 4, it goes, this is the 4. How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year. Throwing the sunfire.
That's all down in G?
Clouds,
G third.
when you find, blah, 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah. We should do the whole song. Blah 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 blah.
Here's the
Blah 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 blah.
I'd still cry.
I would too. Blah 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 blah.
The chorus goes to the 4 like it often does. It goes C. How I wish you were here. And that's a D, which is the 5. So you all heard like 1, 4, 5 songs like. That's a 1, 4, 5. Okay.
It's the same dude.
thing, but they're doing it like a country song. And they're doing it in G and C, which are piano chords. Rock and roll
Okay.
is in E. This is rock and roll. This is piano music. And rock and roll's in E. In A. So
Sounds like Depeche
because,
Mode.
because of this. See my hand?
Yeah, it does.
It's like I can just play it open key. Move it down. But all these other chords are like, how I wish you were here.
Yeah.
You gotta have all this.
Yeah, get all freaky with it.
So A minor, G, all this work. But rock and roll is like,
Okay, so Chuck, let me tell you this.
Finger banging music. Sorry.
Chuck, I have in my, can he hear me? Gilmore had the opening riff written and was playing it in the studio at a fast pace when Roger Waters, that's hard for me to say, heard it and asked him to play it slower, and then the song built from there. So can you play it faster so we can hear how he was playing it?
Yeah.
that'll be faster.
Yeah.
These aren't the opening notes.
Pretty good.
Like that probably, but then he goes,
That's pretty amazing for Roger to come in and hear that fast version and be like, hold on, slow that down. We can work with this.
Like Sid, let's give that some heroin.
exactly.
Yeah. Like, is that part of the schism between them? Like, I like what you're doing, now do it my way.
That's true too.
What happens in bands? I'm used to like the schism being between like the lead singer and the lead guitarist, right? Like Axl and Slash, or like it's weird to me to think
right now what you're trying to say, and, and it's really the epitome of what you would remember in your lifestyle and your history of rock and roll. David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's what you're trying to talk about, right? Basically, that idea.
Yeah.
I've actually been reading books on this and everything lately. The thing is, I started off as a Tom Petty guy. I was a Tom Petty songwriter. Wanted to be next Tom Petty. Whatever. Okay, great. Rock and roll. That's what I wanted to do. And I was not the next Tom Petty. I learned that early in life. God bless America. You know. But then I started looking at it from different ways. When I was 15, I was fortunate enough to go and see Van Halen open for Ozzy Osbourne singing for Black Sabbath.
Wow.
At the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas. So that was their first album. And my friend had turned me on to it. And I was a 12-year-old kid trying to play guitar. And every time I saw Eddie Van Halen, I got a boner and it scared me. Okay. You know what I mean? It scared me. I was like, oh shit. Am I gay? I don't know what's going on here, you know? Holy shit. Because this guy could play the guitar like a monster. And I went to that first concert with my friend, and it was like, oh my God. And after they come off the stage, people were walking around the hallways of the Sam Music Coliseum saying, fuck Black Sabbath, put Van Halen back on the stage.
Wow.
Because that's how good Van Halen was.
Yeah.
Because it was about partying, and those guys really understood how to do that. And so the next year they came through town, they were the headliners on the second album tour. So you got to understand, I'm eating this shit up. I've got the first two albums totally ingested. I'm all into them, and they show up in town, and I get tickets. I'm on the front fucking row in front of Eddie Van Halen, to where literally there's a desk right here. You can't see it, but I stand in my chair, and this is the stage. Eddie Van Halen's feet are right here.
Wow.
Like, this is me. And I'm like going, you're the fucking shit, bro. You know, you're the guitar player that I want to be. Because
Sorry
I
about
grew
that.
up on Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith. And that was different. That was like a different kind of guitar playing. Nobody had done this before. And so Eddie Van Halen, basically I went to that concert and it was great. And it's like the second album tour was great. And so like all the rest of their records really don't mean a whole lot to me. Those first two albums are just so incredible. And I saw it that like these little kids were at these shows. It's not like now where they're doing dance routines and jumping around on a stage and doing, this was real rock and roll.
Yeah.
In its purest form. And Eddie Van Halen had transformed the way people approach the guitar more than anybody had since Hendrix. And that's the point, you know, is that nobody really done to the electric guitar what Eddie Van Halen did since Hendrix. So, and that made everybody like Eric Clapton and all those guys look up and go, what is Hendrix doing? When Eddie Van Halen came out, it changed it. Unfortunately, we're subjected to 15 years of people going, Wheatley, 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 Wheatley. But Eddie Van Halen was a monster at it. And so as I get older, I've played in rock bands, country bands, Tom Petty type bands, singer-songwriter bands. I've played with country, all kinds of things. And I go back to what really, to me, was the most important part, was the purest rock and roll I ever saw, was those first 2 Van Halen albums, live in concert, especially that second album, Front Row, on stage. They're in their like early 20s and they own the fucking rock and roll world. You don't see that nowadays. You don't see that. I'm an old man.
I miss it.
It sounds dumb that I'm like an old man, like reminiscing about Van Halen, but I'm gonna tell you,
like they died.
yeah, like they died. So yeah, they didn't. You know,
They're still touring, man.
Actually,
Well, no one's touring.
Halen's
Right
almost. He's getting close. He's got.
Yeah, his throat's all fucked up, right?
Yeah.
He's actually still alive, and God bless him, and that's all good. But the point is, Van Halen's what you're asking about, and there's a whole thing about David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen and their ability to work together and or not work together.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating. And like, I'm really into it. Like, I don't know if you know, but I took my son in January. He and I flew to Vegas and saw David Lee Roth's opening night of his Vegas residency at the House of Blues in Las Vegas.
How was it?
It was shitty.
No,
Actually,
really?
Let me start over. It was great in the sense that he walked out there like he was doing it, but he was singing some of those songs and sucking really bad at them. And what's sad is they had these tracks going for the backing vocalists. So they were playing to a track. So every time the backing vocals came up, they'd all walk up to the microphone and just act like they were singing. And these perfectly recorded background vocals would come out playing. So they sounded perfect. So it made the show look really good.
Yeah.
David Lee Roth didn't have that.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to hit these notes he couldn't hit anymore. But it didn't matter because he was still out there with his balls on his fucking shoes, like, you know, saying, I'm fucking David Lee Roth. I'm the biggest rock star, because he really did. All those David Coverdale people and all that shit, they were trying to be David Lee Roth from Whitesnake.
Oh, right. I thought you were going like
David Lee Roth.
accidentally saying Sammy Hagar, like, because I am huge. Like, if you're gonna ask me Van Halen, I'm going fucking Van Halen. I'm not going Van Hagar. Fuck that
It's so
shit.
funny. My boss at work, we argue about this all the time, and he goes Van Hagar, and I just like, he does it. And he also tells me how much he likes Def Leppard, and I'm like, oh. You know.
Dude, my husband has a Def Lep shirt, and I'm like, you should have told me about that before we said our vows.
Got married. Yes, thank you.
You need to tell me your love for ELO and Def Lep before we say vows.
For real.
I have a theory. I have to do this because we're going to talk about this. I have to do this one time on this guitar. It's going to sound terrible, but I go.
Do it.
Y'all hear that?
Mhm.
That was my eruption. Bad.
It's great.
That was a horrible
great.
eruption.
It was hard.
It was great.
You have eruption
There's no fucking
dysfunction.
dots on this guitar. All right. How am I supposed to do it without the freaking dots?
What are that? What is that old ass Willie Nelson looking
No
guitar?
dot. There's a couple of dots on the edge. That's it. But how am I supposed to look at that fretboard and see the dots and know where my fingers go?
That's a nice guitar though. Let me see what is that? What kind of rig is that?
Look, it says Alvarez right there in the thing there.
Alvarez.
But it says Alvarez. I bought this at a pawn shop. I bought this at I lost one like this at a pawn shop.
Estate sale.
I bought this at it says Alvarez right
there. Alvarez.
But I bought it at an estate sale, and one of these things right here where you tune your guitar, one of these was broken off. And so what did I do? I went and bought 6 new ones. They're gold, and I put all 6 of them on there. It looked very nice, don't they? Look at that. I did that work myself during the pandemic, trying to find something to do with myself. I found this in my closet. I remember I bought that like 2 years ago. I ordered these 6 tuning pegs on you know,
kind of faded off there a little bit. It was like
what's the word we're looking for? I bought them on, you know, the thing, you know.
They're like Storage Wars. Amazon. Yeah.
There you go.
And I put them on the guitar, and now I played the guitar for you guys tonight.
Thank you, Chuck.
Chuck, I like that rig. It's a pretty rig.
For
Hey.
$15, I bought this, and the pegs were $12. So I've got about
He's gonna
what
do
is
this.
that, like $27 invested in this thing?
Yeah.
Hey,
Now wait, how much was each one of the pegs?
No, shut
Well, nobody cares.
I was writing it down. I thought it was one of those.
Okay, listen, Chuck, I want you to play nicely in the background. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do a little bit of our segments, and then people can like trail off if they don't want to hear our shit anymore. And we can just really get drunk and have fun. But let me get some business done. I want to do our dressed up like a douche for the new people who may be watching on YouTube. This is where listeners tell us their misheard song lyrics. So our dressed up like a douche is from Allie Jacobs. Do you guys know who Luke Bryan is? And do you know the song Rain is a Good Thing? No,
I do not know that song.
I didn't either. Well, here's the lyrics. The real lyrics are rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes my baby feel frisky. Who's talking? Who is that? Is that
I
Sarah?
do know that song.
You know who this is.
So my friend Allie thought he said rain makes corn, corn makes biscuits, biscuits makes my baby feel frisky.
Is that the wrong lyric or that's the right lyric?
That's the wrong lyric. It's whiskey, not biscuits. She told her husband, Mike, who's like one of Corbin's best friends, I don't know what he's talking about. Biscuits don't make me frisky. Which I was like, Allie, they actually do make me frisky. I miss carbs a whole lot.
And your biscuits.
And your biscuits.
A good biscuit.
Right.
I mean, a good
So,
biscuit.
I want everybody in on this. We're going to go around. Chuck, you may not be prepared for this, but we're going to do our guilty pleasures segment. Is Sarah in the room? Can she just do it live?
Sarah, hey, babe, come here. They need you. Come here. They need you. They need you to say guilty pleasures live.
They need to say it live.
So just get right on the mic.
Get in there.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Okay, you ready?
Get closer.
Guilty pleasures.
Ooh, I
Less-
sinned in my
You
pants.
dirty bitch.
Oh
Less
no!
editing for me now.
Wait, do the dead cow move. Do the move.
Oh, okay.
Sexy.
It's not supposed to be. The dead cow moan is a non-committal acknowledgement of something that you've said, which is not legal to speak about in the country from which, or the state which you are calling from. So if
It
you were
sounds like
talking,
you're reading right off the manual.
She
you
knows that
talking
manual
about a
by
sex
heart.
act that is illegal in your state, you can speak about it, but I have to be non-committal in my response, which is,
I got one. I want to take an illegally caught brown trout. Your ass, baby.
I neither decline nor accept that offer.
That's awesome.
All right. I'll see
All
you
right.
later.
I'm going to ask Ben first. Do you have a guilty pleasure song?
I do. And it's a very, very popular song. I don't know why I think of it as a guilty pleasure song, only because I guess I'd just be a little embarrassed to be listening to it in public, but it's Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis.
Oh,
It's a
Ben.
song I love.
It's so good. We've talked about this online before. There's one line in it that you have a problem with. The fireplace song.
Oh, stand up beside the fireplace, take that look from off your face. Yeah, he's just looking for a rhyme there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one really, really bothers me. But the line that I really like with it in that song is "You ain't ever gonna burn my heart out." That's the one that.
Dude, I sing that song like alone in my living room as loud as I can. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Why is that a guilty pleasure? I didn't know Oasis had a stank on them. Is Oasis the Nickelback of UK?
I don't think so.
It's hard to say what a guilty pleasure is, because if it gives you pleasure, then why do you feel guilty about it? Like, it's only your own weakness that makes you feel guilty about it.
You feel judged by your peers. That's what makes you feel guilty.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, John, what about you? You have a guilty pleasure song?
You know, when you guys asked me to do the show, and I knew that was one of the things to think about, I had a hard time kind of putting my mind to it. I was like, man, I'm kind of all open and loving and accepting with everything that I love, that I like, you know, and I couldn't think of anything that was outside the realm. But then it came to me. whenever I drive Kinnison somewhere, she gets to drive the radio. That's she's 13. That's kind of what she gets to do. But she gets lazy with it and just sort of goes to the adult contemporary station. Right. So it's like the hits of the 70s, 80s, 90s, zeros, and that's it. And we stop suddenly. And they played Funky Town the other day when I was taking her we were going to Whataburger. And I don't know what it was, but they came right out of break with it. And because it's two songs, right? Like Funky Town isn't just one song. It's what's the one? Anyway, so as soon as it starts, it was because it's two songs that go back and forth, Funky Town and the other one. And I knew every single fucking hit. Like I was the band major. I could have been like leading the Grambling kids out on the field. Oh, I had them all right. And I was just kicking it to Kenny. And Kenny was looking at me like blown away. Like one of those kids in those 80s movies, like, what? Because she never heard the song before. And then here's her dad all, won't you take me to Funky Town? And I knew like dun, 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 dun. I knew like all the breaks to it. So it was great. I all the way like to the fade out at the end.
Oh yeah. That's toe tapping. That makes both of your butt cheeks in the car be like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom.
So I didn't know I had that all the way in there. Like there's a couple that I know I can like, okay, I can play that one all the way through in my head, at least out loud, as singing it. I could do that one. I had no idea that one was on the list until it came out and I was in the groove.
I feel bad about this, but I'm loving it.
It was very brief. The guilty pleasure part was very brief of like me in traffic, just driving our research forest going, oh okay.
Let me do one real quick.
All right, Chuck, what do you got?
It's I've been listening to this one guy a lot lately. I was watching this video and it was like some Van Halen videos, I think. And all of a sudden this video came on afterwards, like on YouTube. And this guy's name is Pokey Lafarge. And the song is called Fuck Me Up. Lafarge, and it's called Fuck Me Up. And I promise you, when you finish watching it, you'll think it was a cross between the Super Suckers and Tom Waits.
Oh, why is that guilty?
It's my favorite guilty thing because when I get in my car, I turn that song on every time. I roll the windows down. I drive down the street and I roll the windows down so people will hear me playing this song because it's my favorite song. I want that song coming out of my car. I want that song coming out of my life. It's that good of a song. It's one of those things. I stumbled onto it accidentally. It was an accident. But this guy, I'd never heard of the guy. And I talked to this guy that plays drums with me in this I have a weekend party hangout band. We do a thing. And he goes, oh, Pokey Lafarge. Oh, yeah, he sells out the Continental Club. I've been so far removed from playing live. I didn't even know that, But I'm
Pokey Lafarge. I'm trying to have to write this down.
The song is called Fuck Me Up. And after that, go watch a song called Something in the Water. You watch them both in a row and you'll go, I see why Chuck likes this guy. It's the kind of music I play. It's very similar, but it's Pokey Lafarge, Fuck Me Up. Go watch that one first.
I hate to be the standard A&R guy. Hey, yeah, we have great sound there. Was it Pokey? Fard? Great name. Great name. Poke. Is it Haitian? People love Haitian. It's very diverse.
It's like, hey, Pokey, that was pretty good. I like that song a lot there. Hey, that's great. Remember today we had our whiz bang promotion earlier. Yeah.
Hey, pal, a little question about the name of the song. Does it have to be Fuck Me Up? I mean, that's going to be hard to play on like morning radio. Plays that in Corpus Christi. Like, thank me up. Thank me up. It's like for the holidays, something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I promise you watch that video. You watch that video, you'll think of me. You'll think of me saying, all right, Chuck, tell me to watch this video. That video reminds me of, I hope it does, reminds me of the type of music I like.
I will go look at it.
It's perfect of what I like. If you want to know the music I like, Pokey Lafarge, Fuck Me Up it came out in January of 2020, and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is Botobox.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Mazel, L'chaim, Sláinte.
All the above.
I have a guilty pleasure song, and it's something that I love to sing karaoke. And people who listen to this podcast know that we talk about a lot of karaoke. But it's a really fun song to sing. Anybody from the 90s, the late 90s can sing along, and they do. But mine is Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus.
Yeah.
It's a fun song to sing because I sing it as a girl, and then I get to do the girl's voice where she's like, I got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Which is so weird to do because I don't have to change my voice. It's a fucking jam, and it's a fun song to sing karaoke.
That was Reality Bites, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think it was a movie with the guy from American Pie, Jason Biggs. It was some movie with him. I don't think it was it wasn't Reality Bites because I know that movie really, really well. It wasn't from that.
Yes, it was someone around there though. It wasn't too long, maybe a couple of years after that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, because I remember hearing it in 1,000 things.
Yeah. Her name is Noelle. I have a dream about her. She rings my bell. It's a fun song to sing. Okay, I'm going to say this real quick, and then we can just kind of fuck off for the rest of it, and people can trail off if they want. But next Tuesday's episode is a Patreon vote, and this is going to be fun, and you guys can see what you think. We are going to have the Patreon members voting on these 3 songs from Nirvana. We are going to have them vote on Smells Like Teen Spirit, All Apologies, or Heart Shaped Box. It's going to be tough, right? Lyric wise, what do you think?
There's one you want to talk about for an hour. It's got to be Smells Like Teen Spirit.
God damn it. I sang that song at Astroworld. Did you ever go to Astroworld and you can go in that booth and they play a song and you and your friends can sing it and they do a recording and they give you a tape cassette of your recording?
I don't recall that at Astroworld, but I kind of recall that.
Yeah, it was a thing at a lot of places. We did it at Astroworld every time we went. And I remember doing Smells Like Teen Spirit, which was, we all had to like zone in on the lyrics because we were like, we don't know what the fuck he's saying. And then I remember all of my friends thinking, oh, this will be fun. We'll do Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Not realizing the fucking vocal range of that bitch. We could not hit, like we were like dying of embarrassment where you're like, some girls take a beautiful girl and hide. And then she goes, I want to be the one to walk in the sun. And you can't get there. You can't get where she, dude.
Yeah.
That's the day I realized, like, oh, she's a real singer. Like, she's very.
That's why she still has a career right now, as opposed to a lot of these other people that kind of fall off. You ever watch that show called The Chase? It's from Britain, and it is basically a game show about trivia show. And you go against this big, huge British guy, and he's got a big old head, and you challenge him to trivia. The bass player from the Runaways was on that show the other night, and he beat the shit out of her. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
She lost horribly. It was horrible, but you should watch The Chase. It's good. Whatever. Okay.
Well, I want to say this funny story, and I'm going to steal it from all of our mutual friend, Chris Fairbanks. He opened for Cyndi Lauper. Do you guys know where I'm going? He opened. Chris Fairbanks, hilarious comedian. He's got a great special out right now. Look him up. He opened for Cyndi Lauper. It was outdoors, and he ate his shit the way a comedian does, opening outdoors
concert
at a concert. No one is there to see a comedian. They don't want to fucking sit there and listen to you. So he was eating his shit, and then he went backstage like defeated. And while Cyndi Lauper was on stage singing, a bird shit into her open singing mouth.
I think he's the winner. He wins.
I think he
Oh, Jesus. That bird was like, 5 minutes late. I almost shit in the comic's mouth.
Cindy paid me.
That bird
to get
went
him
home
off
and jacked
stage.
off for an hour. Sorry, that's wrong. That's so wrong. Sorry.
And oh shit, they tell this story at the Bird Hall of Fame every year.
It's Chris's story. I feel bad for saying it, but it's so fucking funny.
That's fucking good.
It reminds me of a time I was at Onion Creek, actually, and I had a taco in front of me, and I happened to be looking right at it when a bird flew by and shit into my taco. And like I saw it happen, and so then like I couldn't eat it, but I was like, if I had been turning my head for a second, I would have missed it, and I would have fucking ate it.
And we probably wouldn't have known it. Like, you can think about like, your taco with all the different salsas and whatnot else. You just would have fucking munched through a weird part, be like, oh, well, I guess Yeah, wow. The barbacoa got a little close to the eyeball today, didn't it?
You
Gross.
guys know I used to live across the street from Onion Creek for a long
Did you?
time.
Did you really?
Mhm.
That street
Great
that T-bones into like the parking lot of that Onion Creek and that liquor store, that little liquor store.
Mhm.
That used to
Yeah.
sit there. I don't think maybe.
Yeah.
That street was called I forget the name of it, but basically
I
that was the
don't
street I lived
remember.
on. Stephen Smith that ran the Edge Bar on Alabama back in the early 90s. He had a house there. I used to rent a room from him, and I would play on the road with Jesse and crash at his house. I lived in the second house on the left-hand side of that road that T-bones into it.
I remember
Awesome.
It's a little. You went there, John. You've been.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I crashed out there a couple times on my ways through Houston back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly.
I miss living in town. I lived on the same street where they filmed Reality Bites, which we were just talking about. The house where they filmed that, where she, the final scene where she jumps over the railing of the front door, like
You
that
lived
was
in
just
that
like
house?
No, I lived like a
Across.
few houses down
Okay.
from that house.
Cool.
And I know the gas station where she was taking the
Mhm.
credit card, for money.
Yeah.
I love that movie, and
Great scam.
probably
Yeah.
just because. But one thing I never knew, and I wish someone would tell me, the scene where we're talking about Reality Bites, Ben. The scene where he is singing "Why Can't I Get Just One Fuck," and he's singing it to her. Where are they? Do you know? Do you know what?
That's
part they're in?
Rockefellers.
Is
'Cause
it
they
really?
remember he runs out and out in the street, and they have like a whole scene between him and Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
That's right out there on
Damn it.
Wall in Washington.
Okay,
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's all in that same. Okay, there's Rockefellers.
like-
there's that gas station. There's the street I lived on.
Nowadays, like there's like a head shop or whatever that's right there on that on the
Yeah.
actual street corner. That's where he ran out of.
I'm proud to tell you that at Rockefellers right there, I opened up with me and Jesse Dayton. I played upright. He played acoustic guitar for both at different shows. Waylon Jennings
Oh my
and
god.
Merle Haggard.
Oh my
shit.
god.
No.
I actually got to do that. I got to open those shows again. Like I'm this wacky ass, half-ass musician from Houston, but those are a couple of my little fucking mantelpieces.
Holy
right
shit.
there.
brother.
You know what I mean?
Brother.
You're not-
Those-
You're
You're
not
legit.
half-assed.
That's
at
really
all.
fucking
You can
cool.
do
backstage
it.
with him.
You're so
backstage,
humble.
And Merle Haggard, what have you guys been up to?
Humble Distillery.
Merle Haggard's like, what have you guys been up to? And Jesse was like, he's out there promoting this record. And he goes,
Wow.
Hey, man.
That's what you got to do.
Hey, man.
Hey,
Hey man, this
Just
crowd
shake.
tonight, they're gonna be rich.
I had a lot of fun. I saw Adrian Ballou a couple of times. The first time I ever saw the Beat Farmers was at Rockefellers. I saw Adrian Ballou play there more than once at Rockefellers. These are really like big deals.
That's a cool. I mean, that was a cool spot, dude. It's crazy how, and then they were like unavailable for 20 years because they turned into like a fucking weddings,
Like weddings.
area. Yeah, like oh man, you took one of
here's
our
really cool
core
story.
places.
I'll tell you a real quick story that is next door to that Rockefellers was a pawn shop on the corner for a long time, right on the corner there, you
Yep.
know. So the night we recorded Mitch's record, Strategic Grill Locations at the Laugh Stop, I showed up. I pulled my bass out of the bag, and the neck was broken. It was broke off. Needed to be glued and sit for 6 or 8 hours. I had no bass, and I called my buddy Robin Geiger. And he knew the guy that owned that place. And I said, I know he has an upright in there. You need to call him. I'm driving there now. You got to call him and tell him he's going to rent me his bass. He doesn't know me, but he's going to rent me his bass. I'm going to take it back to the Laugh Stop and play a gig with it.
Oh shit.
And I went over there, and by the time I got there, Robin had called this guy, and he goes, all right, I'll rent you my bass for $50. All right. It didn't even have a case. I had a white pickup truck at the time. John, you remember I had that white
Yeah.
pickup?
Oh my
Chevrolet
god.
I remember it.
And so I
You just
I
put a
it in the
huge
back of-
upright.
I put a piece
in the
of
back?
cardboard in the back of it and put it laid it upright back in the back of this truck and took off for the last stop. It was somebody else's. And I got there, and the whole thing is all my basses are metal string. And this was a gut string bass.
Ooh, it's a lot different.
It's a lot different. And I walked into that Mitch Hedberg gig playing a gut string bass for the first time ever on stage.
Oh
And I played
shit.
for almost over an hour and a half, you know, playing gut string for the first
Doggy.
time in my life on stage ever. And I had to literally rent that guy's bass to make that record happen. But I knew that record was going to be big.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Boy, was it.
I was not going to play on that record. I was going to play on that record one way or the other. The guy rented me that fucking bass. And he was this old dude. He had like long gray hair and a long gray beard. Not ZZ Top.
What happened to that
You know, it was-
bass?
Huh?
What happened to that bass? Did you take it back?
You just give
Did
it
you wind
back.
up buying
No,
it?
I took it home and pawned it. Yeah, of course I took it back to the guy, you know?
No, like you. I don't know if you
Pawn
bought it.
shop,
I don't know if you kept it. You could have kept it.
No, I didn't buy it. I rented it for $50.
And I think after that show, I'd have been like,
played on that record. I never
I might
played
need
Gut
this.
String before that night, and I played it on the Mitch Hedberg record.
Well,
And
it
all
sounded
happened.
great.
And that's a
Hell yeah,
story
dude.
people don't really know. That's a real story tied to that record that's true. And it's like, it's a really weird one because I was freaking out. And it was like, because the whole thing was they were going to make a film and they had worked me to death, hiring camera people, renting gear, finding places to rent gear. I had done all this legwork for them. And they said, we're not doing it. We're just going to make a record instead. Well, I was going to fucking play on that fucking record. After
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Legwork I'd done on it. And so I wasn't going to have it. So anyhow, it was next to Rockefellers. That's a dumb story, but it is a true story. And that really happened.
It's pretty great. All right,
we
you guys.
could stay here all night, but I am drunk.
And Ben can't ninja out the way he usually does.
Oh no, I could. I really could.
He could just go black. I'm in charge of the Zoom, so yeah, you could.
I have a cardboard me that I already brought. Like I could have propped it up there.
All right.
Dude.
Well, hold on. Last words before I say my final spiel. Anybody? Wish
I
you
like
were
your
here.
wacky little show here, and I'm glad to be a integral little side part of it. And you guys are great, and I love John Wessling because he's a wacky motherfucker.
Yeah.
Chuck Savage, I love you too very much. And me and Tommy Drake were talking about we need to get together and go play golf at a very social, distant, appropriate.
ASAFP.
Hey, I see you got the hat on, so let's just make that happen. We love you, miss you, and it's good to be a part of the reunion of the Baloney Fadeaways. It was overdue. The people had been asking for it. I love you too. Love you too. If you like my last word, I had a blast today. I really enjoyed talking about Wish You Were Here. It was really cool.
John, can you
I love your
promote your
work.
podcast?
I could. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It is the After Later podcast. It's me interviewing people. I do about 4 or 5 a week. It's 1 hour, just free form talking, man. Just catching up with people, just like a phone call. I started doing the podcast when everything shut down after the coronavirus hit because I lost all my work. All gigs are just done, and all the backup jobs are fucking done. So I just, self-care, man, self-medicate, call people and catch up with friends and talk about real shit. And it's like a 1 hour therapy session. I think that works for me and works for listeners. It's a lot of fun to do. I hope to have Diane. I hope to have you and Ben on episode soon. Chuck, not you. You know what you do.
Fuck you and your shirt.
Thank you very much. Let's play golf first.
Everyone go listen to After Later, and especially listen to the Sarah Talamash episode and the Mike McRae episode.
Yes, thank you. Very good. They were great. Sarah, I've said this about Sarah Talamash. Hands down, she is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. She's very, very funny.
In person and on stage. Some people are funny on stage, but not in person, or vice versa. Sarah will floor me all the time, no matter where we are.
Hey,
she's two different kinds of funny.
She's cool. She's real cool.
She is very cool.
She's a cool chick.
She's very, very cool.
She's a cool chick. I like her,
Yeah.
I like it how she's elite, world-class level funny on stage. And then she's completely different and a different kind of same level of hilarious when you just know her and she's in regular conversation with you.
I always love when she used to say, abortion kind of tickles.
Kind of tickles.
You can barely hear it. It's like Tom Waits when he talked to Lily Tomlin. Lily Tomlin said in that movie, said, "You've been drinking?" He goes, "You don't ever hear him say no." He just goes, "Oh." There's no N on the no. It's just "oh," and that's how Sarah is with that one. She's like
Sarah won Houston's funniest person with that fucking great bit. You know what's funny about abortion? Kind of tickles. It's fucking great.
fucking right.
That's good.
Can I tell really quick of like one of the moments where Sarah in person made me cry laughing? I was in New York. I was visiting her. We'd gone out to the beach with Corbin's cousin, actually. And it was the day that Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett died. They died on the same day. Poor Farrah Fawcett got the fucking shit in. And oh God, she died of colon cancer. Oh God, she died of colon cancer. She got the shit in of that death deal.
Yeah.
So we're driving and we drive to this bar in Long Island. and it's very crowded. And I'm sitting at the bar, like literally touching backs to the stranger behind me because it's so crowded. And Sarah is telling a story about nude beaches and how she wishes she could go to a nude beach, but instead of like, she doesn't want to take her top off, she just wants to take her bottoms off. And if anyone asked, she would just be like, I just wanted to air out my pussy. And it was the way she said it was making me laugh so fucking hard that like my body was shaking. And the girl whose back was touching mine, her body was shaking. Her body was shaking because she just found out Michael Jackson had died. And we were shaking for very different reasons.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm laughing at Sarah airing out her pussy, and this girl is distraught over Michael Jackson's dying.
Yeah, that went her fall. She was one of his dancers, probably.
This is before we
Oh.
knew things about Michael, like really knew things about Michael. So people were still very sad.
Yeah, right. That did not take long. It was like, oh, he died. It's real sad. Hey, you should turn over to A&E. They got an interesting documentary on right now. You might be interested in.
All right, Ben, any last words?
I have no last words.
All right. Well, let me get it. Let me get into
Are
this.
you making drinks at home? What are you doing? What's
Yeah,
what's
what
your
is in your shot?
what's a bartender do who can't be at home or can't be at work?
It's old
Grand old dad.
granddad.
Oh, granddad.
Old granddad.
Cheers. Chuck, that looks like a cup from the bowling alley. What is
You
that?
want to hear the story about this cup real fast? It's super fast.
Oh, God.
Okay.
One time, me and Brandy.
Is it fast?
We went to me and Brandy went to Vegas one time. We went to one of those booths where they make those frozen drinks, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so they said, you want a double shot of this? Sure. You want a double shot of that? Fucking A, you know?
Oh yeah.
This drink right here was $42.
Oh, God.
I said, I'm taking the fucking cope home. That was 10 years ago. Thank you. We have two of them. We have two cups. This cup right
That's
here.
fucking
From
funny.
Numb. It says Numb right there.
So an $84 drink order for two $42 drinks?
Oh, they were good drinks, John.
I bet they
Were they
were. I
strong?
bet they
They
were.
were good drinks. You know, they were.
You got all the way down the strip on that one.
Yeah.
I got fucked hard by those people that do that. And I took the drink cups home to remind me not to ever do that again. And that's
Good.
why I use this cup now. Thank you
That's
for
smart.
playing, and thank you for inviting me, Diane, Ben, etc. Cheers.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you very much, Chuck. Really appreciate it. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Yeah, let me
My
just read
pleasure.
this. Special thank you to Chuck Savage, who is with us, and Eddie Hawkins for our amazing intro music, and to Sara Wessling, John Wessling's wife, for our guilty pleasures vocals, and for being on here live, so I don't have to do any editing. Great. If you would like to support the podcast, you can join our Patreon for $5 a month at patreon.com/rockthecashbar. With that $5, you will get some cool swag and the chance to vote on every other song that we cover. We pick one week, you pick one the next week. Again, vote on those Nirvana songs. We have a Spotify playlist where we have all the songs that we cover, including the guilty pleasure songs. It's searchable on Spotify, or you can find the direct link on our website, rockthecashbarpodcast.com. Thank you everyone for tuning in. New episodes every Thursday. If you have a misheard song lyric, please send it to us. I'm running low, you guys. I'm running out. We're going to have to cancel that segment if you guys don't send me your misheard song lyrics. So send them to me. Find us
You
on
done?
all...
Excuse me while I
Have you
kiss
done
this
paper
guy.
noses? Have you done paper noses yet? Paper noses.
We know all the like
Okay, sorry.
common ones. We want
Excuse
to hear
me
people's
while
personal
I
ones.
kiss this guy.
Do I like this guy?
Yeah. Y'all never thought of that one?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Of course we have.
My
I have to
bad.
pee. We have to wrap this up. Can we say goodbye, everybody?
Oh, you didn't take a pee break yet, Diane? Oh,
I
hold on.
peed
That's a
like
funny
3
story.
times before we started.
Diane, let me tell a funny story real quick. It's real short.
Okay. I'll just sit on my foot. It's fine.
Hey, hold on. It all started back in history with my man.
When I was
No,
born.
wait, John. It was a different time. You remember? It was
Well,
the time. You were
right.
different.
No. 1865, Boston, Massachusetts. Go pee. Go just wrap it up.
Okay.
I gotta go kiss my baby
Can
tonight.
do you guys really want to talk? I'll go pee. I don't
No,
care. if
we're
the audience
done. We're
can hear.
done. We're
All
done.
right,
We're old. We're
just checking
tired.
with
Okay.
you.
Let's go to bed.
Just fucking with it. All right. Good night.
I love you guys. Thank you
Cheers,
guys.
Love
all
you
you.
too.
Love you. Love you. Love you.
Bye.
Love
I'm
you.
ending. End for
I'll
all. End
take
for all.
your cold comfort and I'll raise you a smile.